got a couple of questions here from our audience. And Tracy, this first one is for you, and it's just asking, what do you find are the most common areas that are often overlooked when it comes to setting up a risk management framework, and how could one maybe mitigate against some of those? Apologies. So the most common areas, most overlooked when it comes to coming up with a risk management framework, and maybe is it an over-reliance on traditional methods? The author.
Yes, that's exactly where I was going to go with that. I think, over-reliance on only physical identity data in a world where we are transacting so much digitally, and there's so much exhaust there in terms of data signal that's out there to help you get your arms around that without disrupting the customer experience. No question, that's absolutely, to me, the most overlooked opportunity in the space.
Thank you so much. I want to try and squeeze in a couple more questions before we start to wrap things up. Dennis, this question dropped in during your segment. It just asks, COVID-19 seems to be the main focus of a lot of what you discussed or what you found there. Do you find that that's indicative of high-profile, sort of newsworthy global events, or is it mainly because of the nature of the pandemic and the finances surrounding it that you think is the main driver for COVID-19 being a major theme in the types of crime that you're witnessing?
Good question. I think it's probably a little bit of both. I think dealing with the second part of the question, it is the case that because of the significant fiscal stimulus by most states across the globe in order to assist the economies over the COVID period, it was almost inevitable that criminal groups and transnational criminal groups would seek to take advantage of that enormous money flow. And so a lot of the crime typologies seem to be related to frauds concerning that. In terms of its prominence in the typologies for 2020 as published by the APG, I think it's also the case that it naturally has attracted attention because it's a unique moment, at least in the last century or so, where we have an opportunity to look at the way in which crime operates during a pandemic period. So in and of itself, that's quite newsworthy and probably has provided a unique opportunity to those involved in the study of anti-money laundering to examine how financial crime operates in very specific moments of human history, and we've just experienced one of those.
Thank you so much, Dennis. And Eric will close with this question here for yourself. For omnibus accounts held by an FFI, are the ultimate beneficial owners considered customers of the broker-dealer for CIP and CDD purposes?
No, they're not. For purposes of the customer identification program, the customer would be the FFI, the foreign financial institution, that's the direct holder of the omnibus account. Similarly, the BD's customer due diligence obligations include obtaining information about the beneficial owners of the FFI, as the broker-dealer's direct customer, but not the identities of the ultimate underlying customers of that account. I guess I would just add that one of the main points of the staff bulletin is that although that's not necessary for CIP and CDD purposes, from a SAR filing standpoint, the broker-dealer nevertheless might need to obtain information about those underlying beneficial owners, those underlying customers of the FFI, in order to fulfill its SAR filing obligations. So technically not CDD or CIP, but nevertheless potentially important.